have the power.
Hey hero fans, this is Todd, and today we're going to open up Evil-Lyn, Evil-Lyn, Evil-Lyn from the 200X Cartoon Series. Now before I jump into this, I do have to give thanks to the Lord because He has delivered my family, and someday I'll tell you guys a story, but He is awesome. Anyway, let's get back to the story of Evil-Lyn. And I'm going to focus this on the 2000X, not on all Evil-Lyns ever made. And so the first 2000X we had was this right here based on the cartoon. You know what? The figure might have came out first. I'm not sure. But this Evil-Lyn was so cool. Such a different, cool design. And she had these giant kneecaps things on her knees. She had a chip in her boot. So this is extra large. She had some parts that looked like Tila that we got at the time, and you can see they added these rubber pieces over the top to give her the Evil-Lyn look. So because of that, we have a shorter one here and a longer one here because of this boot pocket that goes around her boot. Now this figure was not very articulated in that we had leg articulation, we had arm articulation up at the shoulder, and then the waist would turn with a spring punch, whoosh-ah, whoosh-ah, and then of course her head would move as well. So not a lot of points of articulation. And even here you can see it's a rubber coating to cover up the Tila shape they had underneath there. And then on the back, same thing, a rubber coating piece that goes to her collar, which was also added. So basically they took a Tila figure and modified her to give her this cool 2000X look. And the skirt they gave her as well. Just some cool additions. So later on, we did get some little miniature figures from 2000X like this. And I thought these figures are really cool. And one of the figures we got was... Let me dig in my box of figures here. See, look at this mess. Mess of figures. There it is. We got a Tila. Tila. And this Tila... was cool, but they did not give us an Evil-Lyn. What? No Evil-Lyn? So I took my Tila and I repainted her and did some extra mods to make her look more like Evil-Lyn. Now I didn't do, I guess I did do the back. What the heck? That is crazy. I guess it's just where the sword was. But you can see just some paint slapped on Tila, a ball of two-part epoxy I put on here to make the ball instead of her snake staff. Cut off the shield very carefully, and then did some painting on there, and did a little bit of haircut, and tried to make it look like her helmet on top. But it's a very small figure, and I wasn't super talented, so that's about as good as it's going to get. So you're probably asking yourself, why did you need to get Evil-Lyn to go with your Tila? Well, we used to use these as chess pieces, and these are the queens for the chess pieces. So it was really cool. My kids and I would play chess with He-Man figures, and we would use these little cool ones for different figures for the board. Anyway, I will go ahead and put these back away. So then after that, we had classics figures, and people wanted a 2000X figure, and they gave us this figure right here called Battleground Evil-Lyn. And people joke around and call her Playground Evil-Lyn, but Battleground Evil-Lyn. And basically, instead of being a yellow Evil-Lyn, they kind of gave us this grayish color and these purplish. And the only thing new on her was her cape, and that was about it. Otherwise, it was the exact same Tila, just a new scheme of colors. And that's pretty much about it. So I took this Tila, I took this Evil-Lyn, and I took this Evil-Lyn, and I merged them together to make this Evil-Lyn. This was my 2000X Evil-Lyn. So if you take a look, I stole her cape, which looks really cool. Instead of the big old cape up on top, she has sporting the same cape. I took the back piece here, stuck it on there, and then I took the little skull right here and cut it out of an Evil-Lyn and stuck it on there. It was the same color, so it matched great. And then I took these leg pieces and cut them off and stuck them on here. Now, the bad part is remember I told you these were different sizes? So I had to take 2 Evil-Lyns and took the 2 long sides and made them both the same. It also looked weird having a short one and a long one. Now it does mean all the little fins are off on one side, and people have complained about that, but back then I didn't have a 3D printer, and I didn't want to actually alter this figure too much. So you'll notice that there's like O-rings having it hang on to it. That way then I can take them off and turn it back to the normal figure pretty easily. And then I also added a choker, which was based on Beastman's collar. I just took his collar and painted it. You can see it still has some of the orange paint underneath because it's worn off the black paint a long time ago. But again, I didn't have a 3D printer, and I was still pretty new to customizing at this time. So there was my Evil-Lyn. Oh, and I added this gun holster and made it into a knife holster. It was actually somebody else's idea online, and I loved it, so I stole it. And then I added this special little O-ring right there that just closes it up a little bit just to kind of keep it in place. So I can tell like she's grabbing for her knife and getting ready to use it, which is really cool. So there is my 2000X version. Oh, you know what else I did? I forgot. I'm jumping out of order. I'm so excited about the news I just told you earlier about what's happened to our family and how the Lord provided that I am just skipping stuff left and right. Anyway, so here is her alternate head. And here is a helmet that I shaved out and painted the inside black so she can have an empty helmet to hang on to. Now, it doesn't fit over her hair, unfortunately. That'd really be cool if it did, but it'd be really bulky if it did too. But now I can have her hang on to this helmet like she pulled it off. Now, I know in the cartoon, she'd just brisk her hands over her hair and the helmet would appear, which was pretty cool. But I wanted to have a helmet for my figure, so that was my helmet. Now, I have tons of different staffs. This is actually Hordak staff. I cut the bat off the top and painted the top black, I think, to cover that. I don't remember if I painted it or not. But that way she has a unique staff that's different than all the other Evil-Lyn staffs. All right, so that is my story. Now, the one thing I forgot to mention was when Mattel first gave us this Evil-Lyn, they released 2 different versions that I know of. And here they are. We had what we referred to as the fat cheek Evil-Lyn. You can see her cheeks are a little fatter there. And then we had the skinny cheek Evil-Lyn. And even the paint scheme was different. You could see the eyeshadow on this, or whatever it is, eyeliner, I guess. Eyeliner on this is a lot thicker. But she had the fatter cheeks. So people would ask back in 2000s, do you have the fat cheek Evil-Lyn or the regular one? Well, I liked the regular one better. So that one I did not cut up, but I did cut up lots of the other ones. And I wanted to keep the head just for remembering the difference that we had. All right. I have dove into a lot of stuff in a short period of time just to get to the 2000X Cartoon Origins Evil-Lyn. And here she is. Let's go look at the back of the box. And here is Evil-Lyn. And she is blasting a giant bubble around her that Tila can't get through. And it's as seen on the beginning. Now there was a scene in the beginning where Ram Man and I forget who else it was sneaking up on her, and she made this big old ball and just blasted them back. It was like the coolest scene. I loved it. I love this Evil-Lyn. She is so cool looking. Now what's interesting is in this drawing, they do not have her little black choker. And on the figure, they do not have her little black choker either. I'm not sure if it was in the cartoon or not, and I need to go back and look because I don't remember. But it's interesting they didn't have that detail on the new one. They also didn't have it on the classics Battleground Evil-Lyn either. Playground Evil-Lyn, she also did not have any extra accessories besides the cape. All right. Whew. It is time. It is time to open the figure. Oh, look at that. They got other figures in the back, too. Mossman, Man-at-Arms. Fit wand into hand. I'm glad they gave us those directions because I would not know to do that without those directions on the back. I know. That's so cool. They got the Castle Grayskull back there. I got it zoomed up too far. Sorry, you guys. Boop. There we go. All right. What? There's no comic. What? Do any of the 2000Xs have comics? I don't remember when I opened He-Man or not if he had a comic. Now I need to go look online and see if it has a comic or not. Interesting. All right, let's go and open this up. I will check that out later and might edit it into the video. I probably already did by the time you're watching this now. Open. Oh, and I knocked over Battleground Evil-Lyn. So let's take a look at her instructions. Alright, her head comes off, her arms come off, her legs come off, her waist comes off, her boots come off, her hands come off. There we go. Pull her apart. Oh! Guess I should have cut her apart instead of trying to rip her out of there. You guys do not understand. Like I said, I had one of the best days in my life yesterday ever. It's making today a pretty good day too. All right, let me get back to this. So here is Evil-Lyn, and let's talk about articulation. We have ankle articulation. We have a boot cut, if I can get the boot to turn. We have knee articulation. We have hip movement. We have waist turn. We have a shoulder joint. We have a single jointed elbow. And we have wrist articulation. And on this side, it also goes back and forth. And that's upside down. There we go. And then we have head movement. Did I do? Oh, those are sharp. Sharp, sharp, sharp. I didn't notice the little yellow things on there against my stuff there. Anyway, she does look really, really cool. I got some little black spot on here. I don't know if that's... Nope, it comes off. Cool. I was afraid it might have been a paint wear when I saw her in the package. So there she is. Let's get her staff out. Her staff infection. Because I guess they call it a wand. See, to me, a wand is not big. A wand is small. A wand is, you know, like cut off right here. But this is pretty big. Now, we've seen with other Evil-Lyns in the past, they came with both wands and staffs. But that's a staff. It's long. Alright, you know what? I'm going to grab my other Evil-Lyns from Origins so we can compare. Let me pause this video while I grab them out. Alright, I have gotten my other Evil-Lyns. So here is the first one we got. A yellow Evil-Lyn. And then we got a purple Evil-Lyn, which is kind of 2000X-ish, but not totally. Now, originally, these Evil-Lyns came with weird fat knee syndrome. So I, of course, searched all over and bought a ton of Evil-Lyns to get the nice, clean knees. Now, I don't have any more yellow ones left with the old knees. It took forever to get one with nice knees for the yellow one. But there you go. And you can see she's just a little bit taller than the original one we got. And the purple one, which is our 2000X-ish one, which is basically equivalent to our Battleground Tila. She is up there too. So I'm trying to think if you could do some swapping on this. I don't think this armor comes off very easily. Oh, you know what? It does. It is like Polly Pocket skin. So you could pull this off technically and get to the body underneath it. So if you wanted to, you could use this grayer look. It would look really strange though. You have to sand this down a little bit to fit the armor on there. But if you wanted the more grayish look, you could go with this Evil-Lyn here and then just pull her apart and literally give her her boots, give her her skirt. Ugh. That's a tight fit. What? Is their waist different sizes? They are. Look at that. The new Evil-Lyn is way skinnier than the other one. So you have to take the legs off too. And hopefully these legs would fit on there once you got them off. I'm not going to change it all out. I don't mind the flesh-colored Evil-Lyn as opposed to the grayish Evil-Lyn. But if you wanted to, you could spend your time swapping her out. Her boots are kind of strange with the way the kneecaps are, going way up to the knees like that. All right, let's put her back together. I'm so glad they fixed those flabby knees. Those were so bad looking. These ones look so much better. So much better. Now you don't need to worry about it at all. They actually have leg muscles on the female figures now. Look at that. The legs look spectacular. Spectacular! All right, there you go. There's our new Evil-Lyn. And so let's go ahead and line them all up. I'll put the new one in the middle. We'll put the Battleground one over here. Stand. And we'll put the original yellow style over here. And here's what I want to know from you guys. Let me straighten my camera out here. So, I'll number these off. 1, a 2, a 3. Do you like number 1, yellow? Number 2, 200X cartoon? Or number 3, grayish Battleground Evil-Lyn? Which one do you like the best? I'll give you guys a few seconds to answer before I continue on. Yellow, 2000X, gray. All right, so I will let you know which one that I like the best. Now, before we got her, before she was around, I'll narrow it down between these two. Now, I've always liked the yellow one because the yellow one reminded me of when I was younger. My younger days of my yellow Evil-Lyn. But then, as you guys know, I like the 2000X styling, and so I kind of like the purple and kind of grayish. So this became my main Evil-Lyn, and she ended up in the secondary box. Wah, wah, wah. So now we have it between these two right here. Dun, 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 dun. Well, maybe before we go there, let's first compare these two. Joop. We'll do a second round. So, here we have the yellow, which you guys know I like the yellow. I like the classic. It's really cool. That's why I still have her around. But you know what? I'm really digging the 2000X styling. So out of these two, it's going to be her. So now let's do the final round. Final round. Battle. And let's see. So, we got a lot of things to consider here. First of all, we have to consider the skin tone. Now, I'm really partial to the gray Evil-Lyn skin tone. To me, that looks more like the cartoon, because that's what we saw, especially with the coloring of the 2000X cartoon. So, when it comes to skin tone, I am leaning more towards the gray skin tone. Which I know sounds kind of funny, because the fleshy color just does look more attractive, but this reminds me more of my 2000X that I liked before in the past. Now let's take a look at the styling of the actual body features. Now this styling feature is very similar we saw way back in the 80s. And I do like that. That's really cool. But one thing I did not like about Evil-Lyn is that it was basically a repaint of Teela. Where this Evil-Lyn styling is a whole new Evil-Lyn. It's not just a repaint of Teela. So when it comes to styling, I actually do it to 2000X better, not just being a repaint of Teela. I even like it better than this one where it was just a covering up of Teela's body with rubber parts. So for styling, I like this one. Now let's talk about the face. That face, that evil face. So we have this face here. It's kind of like a grunting kind of action figure face. And we have this face here, kind of a half smiling smirk with diagonal kind of eyes and the eyebrows going up. I would have hoped for a little bit different styling of the face when it came to 2000X. But you know what? With the... whoops. My camera's just not wanting to cooperate with me today. With the whites of the eyes, I just really like the way this one turned out looking. So, now let's talk about the headdress. I like this headdress better with the skull and all the stuff on it. but I like this face better. So this headdress, that face. All right, let's move on down to the boots. Them boots. So you take a look at the boots. I like the bottom half of the boots, but not the weird kneecaps. They didn't do them right with the weird little sticks coming. It looks like she's having some spoons in there. And you imagine, oh, it's breakfast time? Let me grab out a spoon. I got one right here on my kneecap I can pull off. And that's what it looks like, some large cereal spoon. She's going to rip off her boots in order to eat her Wheaties. Wheaties! I like Captain Crunch. Anyway, so there we go. So if I had to rank these, better muscle tone, skin tone, better aesthetic for being different than Tila, better boots except for the kneecaps. So the 2000X has my vote. That is my highest one. I may do some changes in the skin tone, but probably not. Too much effort. So my box, oh no, you're being replaced. Oh, this will be my new representation of Evil-Lyn in my top 11 figures. Hooray! So she has been replaced, and she is now in my top 11. So she'll join the other figures in my top 11. She will be the new Evil-Lyn to replace. So I guess I'll stick this one in the same box, the yellow one, since she has now been moved down to a different level. Sorry, you had to go. I mean, your replacement came. Yes, head of shame. Alright, so there you go. That is my rendition of this video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please share. Sharing helps this channel more than anything else that we have. All right. She is cool looking. I am really happy with her. I can't believe the muscle tone they add on her legs. That is so cool. Oh, and her legs are removable now. Ba-donk. Hey. Ugh. And the other legs can be removable too with a lot of hot water, but not that easily. What if the top comes off? My top's got a weird shape to it. There we go. All right. That is all that I have. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next video. And like they say in the 1987 movie, ha-ha! Dun-dun-dun! Whoop! Good journey! Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it!